Chapel Hill Plantation, East Central Alabama. Just a beautiful property, big towering pines, lush green food plots, and big deer, lots and lots of big deer. This week, I'm gonna be after a buck we call Ranger with my 45 XML muzzleloader. And I got my nephew, Will. He's going after his very first deer ever.
McWhorter Custom Rifles presents
This week on Precision Hunting TV, we're going to be in East Central Alabama. I'm hunting with our good friend, Steve McKeehan at Chapel Hill Plantation. I'm going after a buck we call Ranger. We've seen this deer for a number of years. I'm going to be hunting with my 45 XML muzzleloader during the Alabama muzzleloader season. And then after that, I got my nephew, Will. He's 13 years old. He called me up and said, I want to try to go after my first deer ever. So I took him along and we're trying to find him a great looking Alabama buck at Chapel Hill Plantation.
Precision Hunting TV is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, McMillan Fiberglass Stocks, Swarovski Optique, Hornady Ammunition, and Borden Accuracy.
So you've seen us hunt at Chapel Hill Plantation a number of years. Steve McKeehan, he has become a really, really good friend. He's like family to us. In fact, we chase turkeys each year all over the country. We spend hours and hours together hunting these turkeys. And so when he invites us to come over deer hunting each year, I jump at the chance. Chapel Hill Plantation, located in East Central Alabama, is an absolutely beautiful piece of property. Towering pines, big hardwoods, lush food plots, and lots of deer. Steve has been intensely managing this piece of property for a number of years and has bucks all over to show for it. You've seen us hunt here a lot in the past. We've taken some great bucks. This year, we're gonna be hunting a deer we've nicknamed Ranger. We've seen him for probably 3 years in a row now. He's a big mature buck. And I was really excited when preseason Steve started sending me all these trail cam videos and pictures of this deer. He had turned into an absolute giant. So Chapel Hill Plantation is only about an hour and a half from my house. And it's mid-October, and I asked my daughter, I said, do you want to go down and just scout with me, sit in a blind, and we'll take a camera and try to film some of these deer? She said, yeah, Dad, I'd love to do that. So we loaded up and headed down to Chapel Hill to see what we could see that afternoon. We had an incredible sit. We had bucks all over us. We had this young, incredible up-and-comer we call Astro, and just does and young bucks and beautiful big old bucks. And you know, as the sun started to set directly out in front of us, out walks a deer, out walks another deer, and there he is. Sure enough, there is Ranger, this absolute tank of a body on this deer. He's not incredibly wide, but he's tall and he's heavy, and he's got a huge, big old drop tine on one side. Just laying eyes on this deer for the first time this season got me so fired up. November could not get here soon enough. So I was chomping at the bit to hunt this deer, and I called Steve and I said, you know, I can take off a few days in Alabama's muzzleloader season, which happens the 5 days before rifle season opens. I told him, I said, I can take a couple of days off towards the end of that week to see if we can get a shot at this buck right before rifle season opens. What do you think about that? He said, hey, that's a great plan. Let's give it a shot. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Seth.
How you doing?
Good, you all right?
Doing great.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this hunt all year.
I know it. We've been talking about it for a while.
Ooh, man, my favorite hunt, I'm telling you. Chapel Hill Plantation, this is what, 5, 6 years? I can't remember how many we've been coming
That's something
down.
like that. It's gonna be cold in the morning, so I hope you brought your cover off.
I know, it's we don't have enough time this afternoon to hunt, but
no, we don't.
I need to shoot my muzzleloader, and maybe we can get that done before dark, and then get after him in the morning. How's that?
All right, sounds good to me.
All right, we just rolled into camp, and I need to shoot my McWhorter 45 XML muzzleloader. I absolutely love this gun. I am shooting a 325 grain Pittman Aeromax. I got 73.5 grains of IMR 4198, and we have their patented solid brass ignition system with a 215 Magnum primer. So let me load this thing up and see where my zero is. All right, that'll work. I think we're ready for tomorrow. Let's do it.
This segment is brought to you by Board & Accuracy, makers of the most accurate custom hunting actions on the market. Manufactured in the USA to true bench rest tolerances. Board & Accuracy equals success.
So it's the Friday, the last day of muzzleloader season before rifle season opens. We're gonna go out and sit the Clover plot, which is this big plot. It's the same one that I saw him earlier in the season in October with my daughter, and we got some great footage of him. We're gonna go to this blind. However, so the wind had changed, it's cold, and with the wind direction, we're gonna have to hunt on the other side of the field, that Pacific blind where we saw a ranger come out. So we got in and got settled before the first light. You know, all in all, I have no idea how many deer we saw. We saw bucks everywhere, lots of does, a lot of rut activity, but we did not see ranger. In the back of my mind, I was a bit concerned because he's top dog. He is the hoss on this specific property. He has got a huge body. He's got all that mass. And the way he acted when I filmed him in October, I could tell every deer out there wanted to be out of his way. So in the back of my mind, I'm a little bit worried. I'm thinking, man, he's got a doe somewhere and he's got her pinned up and he's probably trying to fend off every single buck that's trying to breed her. So in my mind, I'm a little bit worried that he is holed up somewhere with a doe. So the first morning, we had a great sit. Activity finally settled down. We went back in for lunch. And we decided, you know, it's about 1 o'clock. Let's just go now and get settled in. We're gonna go back to the same exact blind that we were in earlier that morning and just spend the whole rest of the day sitting there. So the way you have to get into this blind is you actually cross the food plot. Steve pulls up on the golf cart and he lets us out, and then what he does is pulls up and up past this little neck of the woods and turns and kind of parks the golf cart around the edge of the field and then walks back to the blind. So we got out, we got in our blind, we get settled. He's not gone very long and he parks and we're sitting there, and hastily he comes back, opens the door, and he says, I just saw a ranger. When I was parking the golf cart, I could see him across the field in the back. He's back there, him and several bucks, they've got a doe pinned down, they're chasing them back and forth. So as soon as he said that, I knew it was go time. So we made a plan. Steve says, you know, if we walk real quietly, we can go through these woods and we can come up on this point right here and then crest the hill, and we will have about 150, 200 yard shot right past that tree, and he's gonna be back in that area in that food plot in the back. And I think that we can sneak up here, if we can be real quiet, get up this hill, and we can able to get a shot at him. So we followed our plan to a T, single file, We went slow, we went quiet. We figured they're gonna be in that area because the way they had that doe pinned down. We snuck up there. We got to the point, and Steve looks up there and he goes, there's a tree right up there. There's this oak tree. If we can get to that tree, we can see down into that bottom. Well, we're easing up there, and next thing you know, we see a deer's head stick up. And then we see another one, and it's like we're stuck. We're in the wide open. All we can do is just sit down. I got my McWhorter 45 XML settled in my Leah photo, and he says, I see him, there he is. And right behind the oak tree, there's Ranger. Are you ready?
Hello, boy. Yes. Yes. Well, here he is, Ranger. We've had a fun hunt after this boy, and he was the top dog, I would say. Yep. I was out here in early, I don't know, mid-October with my daughter, just scouting, getting a little video, and I laid eyes on him, and I absolutely knew he was a buck I wanted to hunt. Got in last night, we hunted this morning, saw all kinds of deer, beautiful deer, just not this guy. Slipped out for some lunch, came back in, and when you were parking, you saw, what, 4 or 5 bucks on one doe.
That's right.
And you came running back to the blind, you said, let's go, let's put on the stalk. And it was fast and furious. I know we have about 4 or 5 seconds of this guy, but what a hunt. Love coming here, Chapel Hill Plantation, folks. Look them up. You won't be disappointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Let's do it again next year.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by Rack 'em Up Roasted Feeds, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, Surge Pro by Biofac Crop Care, Armageddon Gear, Gun Foam, Metal Spinning Targets, and Mesquite Creek Taxidermy.
So muzzleloader season was over, and we had a great big buck to show for it. We had a treat back at the lodge that night. It was Rudy's night. I had Rudy's Anywhere send over brisket, smoked turkey, cream corn, all the fixings. We had a great feast back for us at the lodge. What a way to celebrate a successful hunt. So this season, my nephew Will gave me a call and said, Uncle Seth, I want to try to learn how to deer hunt. He had never hunted before. In fact, he didn't really know how to shoot. So we spent a big part of the summer going to the range and shooting. I have a McWhorter 6BR, which is an incredibly accurate gun that they built for me years ago. It's on a color molded Macmillan stock. It's an absolute tack driver that'll shoot in the .1s. And this is a great gun for him to learn on. There's zero recoil, and if he puts it where he wants to, that bullet will do it every time. And it's a great gun to learn form on, shooting form. So we spent a lot of time shooting, and he was really, really good. And that was the gun that we were going to try to take his first deer with this year. So up to this point, we had already been for youth season. We did not have any luck. He saw several deer, mostly big deer that he couldn't shoot, or some does, and it just didn't work out. But muzzleloader season had come and gone. Finally, it's rifle season, and we had a Sunday afternoon that we're going to go out and try to shoot a buck.
All right, welcome back everybody. This week we're going to be talking about shot placement on animals. In the course, we teach a high shoulder shot. With the high shoulder, you're going to go straight up the leg, halfway on the body, and at that point where the bullet will make contact, that is where the heart, lungs, and the carotid artery intersect. Whenever the bullet hits there and the bullet penetrates 3 to 5 inches, which is optimal, where the bullet is going to open up and function and pass on all of its energy through high dynamic shock. That shock is going to increase the blood pressure to the brain and knock him unconscious. Because we've chosen, such great bullets with Hornady, we end up getting, creating a wound channel that results in rapid blood loss, causing him to expire before he can regain consciousness. So Brett at Metal Spinning Targets has actually helped us out. They designed the targets for us so we can actually train exactly how we're going to be engaging animals in the field.
Those are great reactive targets. The kill zone is exactly where you want to shoot a whitetail, up the leg, hit the body line, come up 8 inches. That's the center of our target. That's how we do everything in the school. So these are great targets.
And like the great thing about the spinning targets is the students get the downrange feedback instantly whenever they made a shot. So if it doesn't flip, you didn't hit it where you're supposed to. When it flips, you know for sure that it was a good shot.
I just shoot them in the shoulder. You ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Call one out at 300.
Got 3.5 minutes. You ready?
Yep, and it's a right to left. It's about 1 mile an hour, so you can probably just hold dead on, Alan.
Here we go.
All right, send it. Perfect. All right, now it's perfect. Quit hitting me with brass.
That's a bang flop. Time to go take smiley pictures, and that's your True Precision Tip of the Week, brought to you by Alan and Keith and McWhorter Custom Rifles.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by McWhorter True Precision Long Range Hunting and Shooting School, Tacticam, Leo Photo USA, Sig Sauer, Trigger Tech, Brux Barrels, and Hawkins Precision. This segment is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, real Texas barbecue.
This one particular blind, we call it the Sendero blind over here at Chapel Hill Plantation. It's got it's a long power line, but it looks a lot like a South Texas Sendero type of blind. And Steve had been seeing this 8-point with a really, really dark face and these very specific looking brow tines on this deer. He is a great looking 8-point, a absolute perfect first deer for somebody. And Steve said, I think that's the perfect deer for Will to try to shoot. And we set our mind on trying to find him. We went out that afternoon to the Sendero blind with high hopes of trying to lay eyes on this buck. We're all settled into this blind. We got some deer activities, some young deer, a couple bigger deer that are not shooters for Will. And then like a ghost, out pops the old dark-faced 8-point with those G1s. I looked at him with a Swarovski binos and I said, Will, that's our buck. And I can immediately see the nerves start, and he was excited. Will's not much of a talker, but I knew he was laser focused on trying to get this deer. So boom, the gun goes off. I'm looking, I see dust fly behind the deer, and he just stands there. I got my brother Michael with me. He's helping him, he chambers it again. And at this point, the deer hears what's going on in that blind, and he starts to walk off like he's gonna walk off the food plot. Oh, you got him! Oh, you got him! So at the shot, I knew it was a perfect hit. The whole front end of that deer buckled over. I looked over him and his eyes were huge, and it was total excitement in that blind. If I walk real quiet, like, oh my God, there he is. He didn't go 15 yards. Well, you did it, bud.
You did it! He's dead. He's dead. Oh man, that is awesome.
What do you think it was, about 100 yards? Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But you missed first shot, didn't you? He moved to the right, and then I think your Uncle Seth had to make some noises and freeze him up. But
Yeah.
We owe a big thank you to Mr. Steve for having us out at Chapel Hill Plantation to allow Will to hunt his very first deer. This hunt meant everything to me. The excitement in Will's eyes, being able to have his dad, my brother, with me on the hunt meant everything. The look on both of their eyes, being able to experience a first with both of them, it meant everything to me. And I'm telling you, this hunt meant as much to me as any deer I've ever hunted in my life. I can't wait to do it all over again with both of them.